I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Roach. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's meeting of the Penn-Harris-Madison Board of School Trustees. Wonderful to see everybody here in the boardroom. Also great to see some students. Want to also take a moment and recognize and welcome all the people who are joining us in our overflow room, along with everybody who is joining us via our live YouTube stream. Very happy you can be here with us tonight. We'll call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. First item on the agenda is the superintendent's recognitions and announcements. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you here. Joining us tonight with the last report of the school year is our outstanding student board ambassador, Noah Schaefer.
Already our last one, guys. So sad. Anyway, good evening, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and School Board of Trustees. Nothing too crazy today. I'm just going to be going through all the same format of talking about sports, fine arts, and academics, and talking about why the students at Penn and the staff are just so amazing. So first, let's get on with the sports. And as our strength coach of the year would say, it's championship season. So when we go on to the NIC, which is the conference we're a part of, softball, boys track, and girls track, baseball, and boys golf had all won their conference championship as expected. And when we go to sectional championship, girls track, boys track, and girls tennis has already won their sectionals. And for girls tennis, they've won 17 in a row. That's pretty impressive. And also, Coach Bauer celebrated his 500th win with the 17th in a row sectional. So that's pretty nice day on Friday. And then baseball and softball are competing in their sectionals this week. So good luck to them. Although for sure they're going to do great as they're both defending state champs. And then also, the fieldhouse construction began on May 7th. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm a little bit salty you guys decided to, finish it after I'm going to be gone. I'm not too thrilled about that, but you know what? It's good that the younger grades are going to get it. And I'll come back and visit and see the fieldhouse for myself. So that was great. Now let's move on to fine arts. So the Wave Awards are nominated to Best Theatrical Performances in Southwest Michigan and Northern Indiana. So recently, we had a play known as The Music Man, and those Wave Awards were given out to 11 or nominated to 11 students. I'm not going to go through them all individually, but they range from awards like Outstanding Actor to Best like Singer and stuff like that. So our musical department is just outstanding. To have 11 nominations throughout just that one play is outstanding. So kudos to them. And then the awards are actually going to be announced this Wednesday. So if you follow Kingsman Nation or Penn social media, I'm sure you're going to see the actual award winners of those. And then last week, the planetarium at Bittersweet was actually officially renamed PHM Arthur M. Klinger's Planetarium, which was great. I actually visited the planetarium last week. It was beautiful. I went to Bittersweet, so I've been in the planetarium a few times. But to see the sign up there was quite nice. It definitely added an aura to the planetarium. So thank you guys for that. Thank you, Dr. Thacker, for the generous donation. And over spring break, Penn Choir and Penn Orchestra went to New York City, and they didn't invite me or anyone else. Why? I mean, I wanted to be in New York instead of sitting at home during spring break, but I had some AP tests to study for, so I probably wouldn't have gone anyway. But they got to do many great things, like with actual music and getting actual experience with like the musical department in New York City, which is just great. Nothing beats experience, right? And they were able to get valuable experience. So that was really cool if you want to check out some pictures from that. And then also talking about choir, they qualified for state for the 12th time. They also earned a gold ring at ISMA, which was very cool. And Penn Band also earned a gold at ISMA, qualifying for state for the 22nd time, marking their 21st consecutive time in a row. That's insane. I mean, I know our band's amazing, but 21 times in a row qualifying for state, that is no easy feat at all. The Penn Journalism class, PNN, competed at a competition at Ball State, and there was many awards. Many people got awards, but the highest awards were known as Superior Awards, which basically just meant that like they were like the best. And we had a Sports Play-by-Play Award for James Mason and Nate Zizzo, and then a Multimedia Story for Ethan Walker. So shout out to those students. Our journalism program is really growing at Penn, and it's really great. And then Penn was also announced a triple state finalist, and they were a Quiz Bowl state finalist, and they were Spell Bowl state champions in fine arts and math. Lastly, we have academic news. And I want to give a shout out to all of the year awards. So elementary teacher of the year, Nicole Mondi, secondary teacher of the year, Jeremy Starkweather, which is my boy right there, speech and debate coach, state champs, first time in program history, that guy right there. And then employee of the year, Brenda Speedy. All these obviously, represent what PHM is supposed to be every single day. And we couldn't be more grateful to have them, within our corporation. But also we have the Culver's Bus Driver of the Month. So congrats to Diane Okonski for winning that for the April award. Oftentimes we kind of just forget about our bus drivers. We love our bus drivers. They're really great. Okonski donated like 155 hours of extracurricular hours in trip time. And that's just a lot, right? I mean, obviously you want to get the kids to and from school, but to donate extra of your time to get kids to like myself to like cross country meets or speech and debate competitions where you win state championships, right? That requires a lot. So thank you to all that. Round of applause for all the bus drivers. I just really appreciate them a lot. So we never not appreciate our bus drivers. They're really amazing. We also have DECA. They competed at ICDC in Anaheim, California. Also wanted to go on that trip, but I didn't get invited. I don't know why they don't invite any of their other students. But David Grazi and then Chris Chen placed second in the entire world in their event, which is the first time that anyone's placed top 3 at all in Penn history at DECA, which was really amazing. Then we had senior Jaden Wong, who was awarded a regional academic all-star, and he was selected out of only he was 50th out of like 281. So only 50 people out of 281 people actually got this recognition in Indiana. So that was really amazing. And then lastly, the Penn Civil Construction built a new sidewalk by the soccer field, which is really great because it goes to show that like not only are we having amazing stuff work in the classroom, but we're having engaging work outside of the classroom. We're getting real world experience. That just shows how great PHM really is and how fortunate we actually are to be in this cool corporation. Because while you're never going to see me in a construction field, I mean, look at me, I'm a runner. I'm not really, that strong, right? It's amazing to actually give the kids opportunities to do this because you don't go around to random high schools in America seeing this. So PHM, really, really great. And finally, to end off the speech, I know that I kind of talk a lot. I'm sure you guys get tired of hearing my voice a little bit. So we're going to switch it up a little bit next year too with the student ambassadors. So you guys just don't have to listen to me the entire time. So I would like to introduce some fellow students. They're currently juniors. So if Kelly Kabutsky and CJ Valentine could come in and introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kavinsky. I'm CJ Vantine. And I'm Bella Beloso.
So these 3 are going to be working with student ambassadoring next year. Obviously, I have funny jokes, but they have a little bit more charm than I do. So it'll be good to hear from them as well. And they're some of the brightest people at Penn High School. So I'm excited to get them to an opportunity to speak in front of you guys in the public and PHM. So.
Thank you, Noah.
Wonderful. Well, welcome.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you guys for listening to me for the last 3 months. I know I have bad college sports takes, I know, but hopefully you guys can get past that. So,
well, CJ and Kelly and Belle, we certainly look forward to working with you. And Noah, we understand that you're going to be having a reprisal year. You're coming back for more.
Yeah, maybe possibly.
So are the 4 of you going to divide it up in quarters?
That's probably the plan right now. Yes. So we still need to work out all the details, but that's probably what we're gonna do.
Noah, do us a favor when you go back. Will you tell the choir and the band in particular congratulations for us? Also, Dave and Chris, the DECA awards that they got. That's pretty amazing. And I know that the field house probably won't be completed during your studentship at PHM, but you didn't know that the board is secretly considering a statue for Noah Schaefer.
Really? Wait a minute. Well, that changes everything, guys.
That's on our 2027 construction.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's so good to see you. Thanks for everything you've done this year. You have been so much fun to work with. We appreciate your enthusiasm and all the reports. We won't talk about your loyalty in sports, but you know what? You're welcome back anytime. It's great to see all of you. We look forward to working with you next year.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night, guys.
All right, Dr. Thacker, we'll move on to Secretary and Teacher of the Year.
Thank you very much, President Riley, Board of Trustees. We have absolutely phenomenal teachers in PHM. And I'm proud to say that 100% of them are rated effective or highly effective. Over 90% is highly effective. And so representing the great teachers as Secretary Teacher of the Year, I'm proud to introduce Jeremy Starkweather, who is just a superstar teacher. He won the state championship with speech competition. And our Spellbowl team did win, but you guys were announced at the same time. So welcome, Jeremy. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. All right. Good evening, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the School Board of Trustees. I'm honored here today to be here as the District Secondary Teacher of the Year. And this award is very personal to me as I grew up here in the district where I found my inspiration to teach. Though I didn't always know I was going to come back to Penn, I don't foresee a future anywhere else. I love this place. I love the PHM community, and I'm so glad to contribute to this ongoing tradition of excellence. I want to thank a moment, and I'm going to try to get through it as fast as I can because I have a long list of names of just the incredible teachers who helped me to get to this moment and express how much just PHM means to me. But first, I'd like to thank my mom and dad. They're in the back of the room over here. They actually moved me into the Penn District when we were little, even though they both went to Mishawaka. And now I get to go to all the sports games, and usually we win, which is nice. So I get to rub that in my dad's face. So, but anyways, they're the best parents I could ever ask for. They were my first teachers, and I thank them for being here and for everything. So first off, I started at Moran Elementary School. Shout out to all the Knights where I started my English career. Mrs. Conley in the first grade where I wrote my first book. Mr. Van Udegum in the 5th grade introduced me to The Hobbit and the love of reading. Grissom Middle School was the glory days. I don't care what anybody from Discovery says, Grissom is the best. Specifics, Mr. Burns, Coach Manspeaker, Mr. Larson, Miss George, she's now Miss Martin, and then Mr. Yenna were some of my favorite coaches, favorite teachers of all times. Penn High School is a long list. I loved my time at Penn High School, and you'll notice some really notable names on this list. Beth Zachary and Sarah Dwiggins for freshman English. That was actually when Beth was pregnant. I can't remember which order of children, but Sarah took over for her at one point. Jim Sauer, Denise White in Calc, Julie Olson, Rochelle Mammaleni, Tom Miller taught me, I'm going to talk about him a little extra later, but a lifelong love for distance running. My guidance counselor, Sarah Hendricks, and then last but not least, David Dutton, who started my career. He was one of my favorite teachers and one of the best mentors I could ever ask for. As a student teacher, I learned from the best. Again, Dave Dutton, like I said, basically started my whole career. He worked it out with Steve Hope and some people over at IUSB to get me to be able to be here with the hope of taking over for him when he retired. I owe everything to him, and if he's watching, thank you. Kevin McNulty is one of the greats. That's where I actually did my student teaching for my E&L license. So Kevin McNulty retired this year, and I want the school board to know he's one of my favorite people of all time. Learned a lot from him, even after my student teaching was done. On a regular basis, we work in our PLCs. I want to give a few thank yous to Julie Huxford and Danielle DC, both of whom spent decades creating the curriculum that I use every day and continuing to be a mentor to me. And then lastly, my co-teacher, Janet Larson, for just being the best partner in crime of all time. As a coach, I have to give a few thank yous to, again, people who helped make me who I am. Dawn Troyer, Chad Wetzel, Matt Cates, Eric Bowers, Marie Doan, my assistants, Danielle Black, Nora Noble, and Jeannie Mitchell. And then I want to give, again, a special thank you to Tom Miller. He taught me literally everything I know about coaching and how to run a program, and I can't thank him enough. And then lastly, a few of my favorite colleagues and incredible teachers who I regularly go to advice. I mean, Dr. Thacker is entirely right. We have the best teachers of all time at Penn High School. And so for me to be picked is an honor, but I want to give a few of my favorite colleagues here who I go to on a regular basis. Kyle Barris, Matt Rollins, Bennett Blazo, Angela Urell, Jose Gutierrez, Annie Utsi, and Les Crooks. They are a constant shoulder to go to for advice, and I couldn't do what I do without them. And then lastly, I want to thank all my students. They make me laugh. They encourage me to be the best version of myself, and words cannot describe how thankful I am to be able to spend time with them on a daily basis. I mean, spending all day every day with Noah Schaefer, come on, it doesn't get better than that. And then lastly, I want to thank my wife, Allie Starkweather, who couldn't be here today. This is a true story. I met her our freshman year in high school at Penn High School, Algebra 2 class. It wasn't until after college that we started dating and everything, but she's my best friend, my colleague, my wife, and proud of her and happy that I got to meet her here. And then lastly, I'm proud of my work here at Penn. I hope I will continue to make you all proud as I move on to the state level, and thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Come on up, let's start with him and take a picture. Thank you. Appreciate it. I know, it's starting to grow back up again. Yeah, it's coming back. Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, actually, I think I have one of these on my lanyard, my ID lanyard. I still wear it.
You know, we always talk about our triangle of success connects to students, teachers, and parents. Obviously, great student, great teachers. How about these great parents? Why don't you stand up?
He's been a Chiefs fan since 1960, so he's allowed to wear that
Was that Joe Montana? Was there? Hank Stram, he won the championship.
1960, he was Dallas.
Okay, now it's my pleasure to introduce the elementary teacher of the year. And there are two all these phenomenal teachers that we have. And here's somebody who's a great leader, does a lot of innovative kinds of things, keeps the kids engaged, uses technology, mentor to her colleagues, just brings it every single day. So Nicole Monday, please come forward.
I want to thank all of you for this opportunity. It was quite shocking. I was never expecting to get such a high honor, and so I really want to thank you. I particularly want to thank my family. They're there when I'm working late and maybe not getting dinner on the table when I should. So they're always forgiving for that, and so I want to thank them especially. I want to thank Mrs. White, who didn't get to get a chair in here, but she's a phenomenal leader, always pushing us to do more, do better, and when we feel like we can't give more, she finds a way to encourage us to get us to go even further. I particularly would just want to remind you and thank you for what you do for us. Dr. Thacker reminded us at the breakfast of how we have those 3 layers of security in each of our buildings, and it made me think of you guys. We have like 3 layers, I guess, as teachers. We got our principals that kind of protect us, shield us from a lot of the backlash or whatever it might be. And then we have our union, which does a great job making sure to listen to our troubles, woes, whatever it might be, complaints. And then there's you guys that show up every month, and I don't know how you do it. And I was talking to Ms. Sullivan at the breakfast, and I just thanked her and all that you guys do, because when we're given our all each and every day, it's hard to like come to these meetings and hear a lot of the negativity that you guys have to hear month in and month out. And so we just want to thank you, like as teachers, like for being that like level of security for us that kind of blocks us from that and protects us and listens to us. You're that level, that 3rd layer, along with the triangle of success. So it's because of you and the amazing people that you are that allow us to be who we can be. You give us awards like these that encourage us and keep us working hard. We do have a district that's just phenomenal. It's amazing, all the things that we do. I will throw out there that Dana Grassi was in my 3rd grade class. So I'm sure it's because of me. But it's just amazing people that like dying to move into our district, like we'll find homes, whatever it can be, because they know that our teachers give everything. And it's encouragement from you guys and support from you that helps us to keep our integrity and keep us who we are and make sure that we're representing our board and our people to the best of our ability. So I hope I make you proud. I see the amazing people before us, and it's a little humbling to see people that have gone before us in years past. But I hope that we can do something similar for you this year. So thank you again for all that you do.
Thank you. Did I get you stuck? Do we have our picture taken with you?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh.
Commemorating.
Oh, cool.
Congratulations again.
Yes, so this is my husband, Adam, and Peyton is my daughter in the 4th grade. I was Mishawaka, so then
And now it's my pleasure to congratulate Penn-Harris-Madison's 2024 Classified Employee of the Year, Brenda Speedy. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'd love to get our picture taken with you, and we'd love to have you introduce any guests with you.
Okay, this is my husband, Brad Speedy.
Hey, Brad.
Congratulations. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your work
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
Well, again, we congratulate Jeremy, Nicole, and Brenda on being chosen as PHM Secondary and Elementary Teachers of the Year and the Classified Employee of the Year. Very proud of all three of you. You all are very, very deserving of these honors. Congratulate you and look forward to seeing you again at a school board meeting. Move on to the Superintendent Spotlight. Excellence happens here. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. I'm really excited about this. It's unbelievable. There's only been one. This is a perfect mathematician right here. In his junior year, Felix Zahn was the only person in the entire world to get a perfect score on his AP Calculus exam. Now he's getting ready to graduate. We know he has a studious side, but we've also heard that he has a very humorous side. So we decided to get two of his fellow valedictorians in on the fun, and we have a video. Let's go see Felix.
Education news. An Indiana teenager just learned that he was the only student in the world this year to get a perfect score on the AP Calculus exam.
In my sophomore year in May, I went to go take the test, of course. I just wanted to get in there, get a 5, be happy with that.
The only person in the world with a perfect score. Do you have any idea what the odds of that are? I don't. The kid does. I don't. That's how smart he is. I don't know.
When the news came out and all the attention was sort of put onto, this accomplishment of mine, it was definitely a new thing. I'd say one thing that definitely helped me out was sort of the music experience I have, playing on stage. I participate in the orchestra at Penn. I play the violin. I also enjoy playing the piano. I think it's easier if you're a beginner to pick up the piano over the violin. So doing the...
You seemed kind of distracted. Did somebody...
Oh, yeah. So we got two of my friends here. I was very confused for a second why they walked in. I was like, okay, sure, why not?
Felix, if you're on an island with all of your needs taken care of, you can only bring 3 things.
Some kind of internet so I can actually stay connected. Maybe a computer, either a piano or a violin, one of the two.
After taking Mrs. White's class for 2 years,
yes.
What's your most memorable moment?
Definitely one of the most memorable moments was when we made all of our board games. And it was sort of like a chaotic class, that's for sure.
The Juggernaut, the bear, the man.
Our board game was especially very funny. I think we got scammed, and it should have been voted the best one for sure. I appreciate Mrs. White very much for letting us do something fun. Perhaps one thing that I am most proud of is becoming more of a leader. There's been opportunities like, creating math club, becoming a head coach at Discovery Math Counts. There's a lot of things that I've done that require me to take up this position of leadership.
That's all we had, except for one last question.
Okay.
There's like a certain news broadcast. Who was sitting next to you during that?
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot. I don't remember that guy. I don't think he wasn't very important to me, so. Where are you going? That's it? All right.
That's all we had.
Thank you for your questions.
Of course. Thanks for being a good sport.
That's awesome. Felix, in so many ways, absolutely one of a kind. Thank you, Dr. Thacker, for having that video produced. Thank you for all those who participated in producing the video. Nothing like some friendly rivalry between buddies at school. That was awesome to watch. We'll move on to our next one. I think we have an award to announce, Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. Very exciting news. We received word on April 26th that the Indiana Department of Education is awarding Grissom Middle School with an Educational Excellence Award for excellence in academic gains. The award comes with a grant up to $177,000. Grissom will be recognized at the 3rd Annual Educational Excellence Awards Gala in September. As you may recall, Penn High School won an IDOE Educational Excellence Award last fall for college readiness. Penn High School was recognized at the gala and received a $250,000 grant from the IDOE. Schools must use the grant funds as indicated by the IDOE. Big congratulations to Grissom. We're really proud of them.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. Congratulate all the administration, staff, parents, and students at Grissom on this amazing achievement. And members of the audience, that concludes our spotlight portion of the school board meeting. If you were here just for that, now would be a good time while we welcome you to stay for the business portion of the meeting. If you have to get home and make dinner, or whatever the case may be, now would be a good time for you to depart, knowing that you're always free to return at the next school board meeting. Congratulations. Board members, next up is the adoption of the agenda. Board members, any additions or changes to tonight's proposed agenda? Hearing none, the administration?
The administration has no changes.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for the Monday, May 20th, 2024 regular board meeting as presented?
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Next up is the approval of minutes. Board members, any additions or changes to the minutes from the April 22nd, 2024 executive session and regular board meeting as proposed? Administration?
The administration has no changes.
Do you have a motion to approve the minutes from the April 22nd, 2024 executive session, regular board meeting?
I so move. A second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion also carries unanimously. Move on to the consent agenda. And Dr. Thacker, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. The administration recommends approval of the 23 items appearing on the consent agenda. Appearing on the personnel report under certified staff are 2 retirements for the end of this school year. Teresa Weaver, occupational therapist, will retire after 29 years of service, and 25 of those are with PHM. Catherine Campoli, teacher at Grissom Middle School, will retire at the end of the school year after 35 years of service. Appearing under the personnel report under classified are 3 retirements. Nancy Triple, media teacher aide at Meadows Edge Elementary School, will retire after 9 years of service. Judy Scheiko, office aide at Meadows Edge Elementary School, will retire after 25 years of service. Gloria Youngs, technology aide at Walt Disney, and Elsie Rogers will retire on August 28th after 18 years of service. So on behalf of the board administration, we wish Teresa, Catherine, Judy, Nancy, and Gloria the very best in their upcoming retirements.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. And board members, before we take a vote on this, we do have a member of the audience who was asked to speak on this agenda topic. So with the 3-minute limit, I'll call on Laura Brzezinski.
Good evening. Laura Brzezinski. My address is on the form out there. I just want to double check with the PBIS agreement that we're doing. Last August, I spoke about there was a built-in feature about the SEL tracker, which allowed staff members to import or to put in students' social emotional health. The kids could check in with their own status as far as how they felt using emojis. There was a write-in spot that they could put in. And at that time, I believe Dr. Short told me, that was removed. You guys had that removed for Schmucker and for Grissom. So that was not going to be allowed for the I'm sorry, I had this written out a lot better back in August. You guys can go back and listen to that. You make sure that the kids are not going to be able to put in their own social emotional status into this app. That is not going to be where the staff can access that and mark down the kids' social emotionals. What they view is the kids' social emotional things. I'm just trying to make sure the kids are not going to be tracked. And I want to make sure nothing has changed from the last agreement, because I believe you said that was taken out. And Mrs. Sinclair had confirmed that that was taken out last August. So I just want to make sure that feature is not slipped back in. So that's last time you allowed somebody to speak and say, and the parents can opt out of this like we were last time. I just want to make sure that
is accurate. Yes.
That is okay. I'm like,
that is accurate.
seems like you
We
guys
will-
could just confirm that that is.
We'll allow the same that
Okay.
happened last.
Thank you, Dr. Short. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Brzezinski. Board members, any comments or questions?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee.
Yeah, 5.21, the approval of the school board meeting dates for the 24-25 school year. Last meeting, I believe we had a little bit of back and forth on the discussion of providing school board members some more additional time to prepare for these meetings. I believe the April meeting, we had 643 pages of documents we needed to review. For tonight's meeting, it is 647. Now, granted, some of those are similar to the April meeting because we're voting on the handbooks here tonight. But if you look at the proposal, we have less meetings next school year, which I'm certainly open to. But that means, to Mr. Beeler's point, I think, not his words directly, but he had talked about at the last meeting in April, he made a comment that in years past, meetings happened more often, so there wasn't as much material to review. Now, for next school year, if you look at the meeting dates, we have one meeting every month. The past 2 months, we've had one meeting each month. If you average out those 2 meetings, that's 645 pages of material for each that we had from Thursday night at 5 p.m. till tonight at 7 to review. Not to mention, if we had any questions or conversations we had to carry out based on those documents. So my question, long story short, for the administration is, will we be getting information sooner than the Thursday night prior to the following Monday board meeting? Certainly would think every single board member here tonight would agree with that, that we have more time to properly prepare for these meetings. So
That's a great question. Yes, as we discussed the best way to make sure that the board was well informed, we believe that we can do a much more effective job if we give you material in advance. And we think that this is going to permit us to do that.
What's any type of defined timing that we can see? So for example, if let's use an example of these proposed meetings. Let's say
actually we think we could phase some things in.
Perfectly open.
So if we have something that takes longer, we can get that to you earlier. And then if something comes in at the last minute.
Yes.
Okay, but that's how what we want to do is make sure you're well informed.
Okay.
That's our goal.
Yeah, I just want to ensure that, and you can certainly piecemeal it in. It's that way we don't get all this information at once. If some of it's ready prior, certainly would love to have it. And I think every single person in the community would agree with us that it's a common sense thing here. So is that the administration stands on this?
And as we're working through that, if as we're talking about the best way to receive the information, if you need something additional time on certain kinds of topics, we'll make sure that we definitely get it to you quicker.
All right. Thank you.
Matt, I clearly voiced my opinion on
yes.
that too.
Yes,
Is that
so,
you
yeah.
talking to me?
Yeah.
You want me to share that? Okay, here's what Larry Beeler and I were talking about, because we've had the pleasure of working together for a long time, and he has a lot of wisdom, and I've had over 500 school board meetings myself. So as we think about different topics, occasionally there's something we really need to take more time, not just provide you with the information. We need to give you the time. We think that we should be able to build in some work sessions so that we actually have that as a dedicated topic and we can talk about it. I think that would be much more beneficial. It'd be much more efficient if we did that than even if we have more board meetings, we build it as just one of the topics. So we think that's an effective way to do that. And I'd like to commend Larry for his thoughts on that. And we think it'll make it a better running organization. But we want to keep you informed, want the public to be informed.
Absolutely. Thank you. One other question?
Yes. Mr. Chapman.
Okay, perfect. Just one question on 5.23. Certainly congratulations to Mrs. Wheeler. I think she will do a great job in that role. But I've had some people in the community come up to me. It looks like we've added another 6-figure admin role to our staff. So I just want to clarify for those community members that this is not the case, correct? I know we have eliminated the DEI portion from our handbooks. We'll be voting on that here later tonight. So does that too mean we have eliminated the DEI position as well?
What we have done, so that everyone knows, there's been confusion about DEI and what we're doing, and we're focused on the Indiana academic standards. And so as we look at Penn High School, and we used to have 5 assistant principals, and we made some modifications because we could help with, we had a couple of other people. We had Derek White, DEI, helping with evaluations and such. We also had Bob Thompson, who was working over at the alternative school with the evaluations. So what we have is an expert who's also in special education. And so we know that, and we're taking 2 of those positions away from evaluations. So we put that position, we replace a position, but with somebody with more expertise in special education. The other positions lend themselves differently. Mr. Thompson's coming over to HR, Human Resources, and then we're going to have Mr. White, who's overseeing a K through 12. He's in charge of the alternative school, but one of the biggest issues we have is truancy in public education. So he has great expertise in these areas. So we're trying to use them more in a concentrated area, not to be evaluating. And then we think that Ms. Wheeler is just a phenomenal educator. She's proven herself here. She's going to pick up the slack, and we have more special education students in our district. We have more different kinds of challenges. So it's as you look at the numbers of people, we have not added the numbers any more than we had in the past.
So long story short, the DEI position has been eliminated.
We have no intention of filling that position. As we look at the legislature and across, it could create so much confusion for us. There's a problem. And so people think we're doing something that we're not. And so that, we're always going to be emphasizing making sure that people they feel valued and significant in PHO. So that's going to be every single kid, all the adults, so that the diversity is represented with that. So with that position, we across the country are watching the backlash with that. And we don't need to do that because we're not doing some of the things that they were talking about. So we had the title, but we had him working in specific areas, helping kids all the time, K through 12. So we think this is going to be a real benefit for us. I appreciate that question. It's a great opportunity to clarify this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, Mr. Chaffee and Dr. Thacker. Ms. Rose, you wish to be recognized?
I'd just like to be reassured that we still value and celebrate diversity in Penn-Harris-Madison schools.
It's a major goal that I said in 2006, and it's one that if you worked here, you've heard me say it probably at every major meeting. It's a major goal. Value people, we value and celebrate diversity. So absolutely.
Thank you. Any other school board members wish to be recognized? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the May 20, 2024 consent agenda as presented by Dr. Thacker?
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Before we move on to Teresa, Catherine, and Nancy, and Judy, and Gloria, We wish you Godspeed in your well-deserved retirement. Thank you for all that you've done for PHM and for all that you've done for our students and for our community. And we hope you just have a wonderful retirement. Come back and see us soon. Before we move on to our next agenda item, Dr. Thacker has an additional item to share.
Okay, now that we talked about Miss Crystal Wheeler, let me introduce her. Okay, she began teaching in the Exceptional Education Academy in 2019. She was a PLC, Professional Learning Community Leader for Learning Strategies for 3 years and ran the Work Experience Program. Last year, she also served as a Dean of Students. She graduated from the University of South Dakota with a dual degree. Anybody else ever been to South Dakota before?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
South Dakota State.
So we love everybody from every state. So she has a dual degree in special education, elementary education. She began teaching in 2002 in Phoenix, Arizona, at a middle school, and then later at a self-contained high school setting for students with emotional and behavioral needs. She's also worked as an ABA therapist for helping students in their homes. She received a master's degree in special education and a master's degree in educational leadership from Northern Arizona University. She'll be an outstanding addition to Penn High School staff to do capacity. It's my pleasure to say welcome. Crystal, would you like to share a few words with us?
Sure. Thank you. All right, well, thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and the members of the school board. This is a wonderful opportunity. I'm super excited to get started. I also want to thank the PHM administration for leadership, guidance, and support through over the last 5 years I've been here. We moved to Arizona, or from Arizona here for family. My husband's from here. Lee Wheeler went to Marion, so we still love him. We moved here for family, and I think really when it comes down to Penn has always been a family ever since I've gotten here. Started in Ex-Ed. We built a wonderful program with Ms. Schaefer and our academy leader. I think that's been what it's all about. And then I moved into the dean position, and with Sarah, Vince, and Daisha, they really helped encourage my growth. And just being in a position that it's thought to be scary, it's not. Really, it's all about building relationships, and that starts with the kids, and it starts with the teachers and the families. And so I just, want to thank everyone for believing in me and trusting that I will continue on in this wonderful journey. So I'm here, and along with all the meaningful relationships that I built with families, teachers, and students, I look forward to expanding my Penn family. This is a larger scale than what I've anticipated, and I'm super excited to get started. So thank you. Picture time? Picture time. Thank you. Thank you.
You want to say anything else about your husband?
He's been my biggest cheerleader. When we looked at the dean position, he had me write out all the pros and cons, and we have pages of notes about what I should do, what should I do. He's just been a great cheerleader, wonderful. He played hockey, was 1999 state champ. So,
We love champions.
Yeah. And he told me to be on the hockey kids at Penn, and so I was.
Congratulations.
Every Marion employee needs a pin.
Oh.
Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Well, Crystal, congratulations again on your new role. We're over the moon about you and what you're going to do and continue to do for Penn High School. So congratulations. We'll move on to our next instruction action item, which is reading and approval of revisions to the student handbooks. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. Next up is the second reading and approval of revisions to the parent-student handbooks from 2024 to 2025 school year, which Director of Professional Development, Dr. Lavonde Knoll, would be glad to answer any questions if the board has questions. And I would like to say thank you to Mr. Garrett, who pointed out something that was probably for clarification, helped us with regard to tardies and such, so it's more specific, that people will be in their work area. And Dr. Levon Nell worked with a couple of her colleagues and made sure that this took place. So thank you for that, Mr. Garrett. And so
Thank you for thanking me.
Board members, any comments or questions for the administration? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the revisions to the handbook for the elementary school, middle school, Penn High School Athletic and Activities Code of Conduct for students representing Penn High School, Athletic and Activities Code for students representing PHM middle schools, Penway Night School, Penn Pals, the Early Learning Academy Preschools, Kids Club, and Meadows Edge and Madison Preschools for 2024-2025 academic school year as presented?
I so move.
Second?
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. We'll move on to instruction reports. Focus on Penn High School Academies. Dr. Thacker.
thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. We're pleased to present to the board the Penn High School Academies presentation focusing on the Freshman Academy and the Exceptional Education Academy. The Dr. Short will introduce it.
Good evening, board members. Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. We are excited to welcome members from both the Freshman Academy as well as Exceptional Education Academy this evening to speak with us. So we have Assistant Principal Sarah Hendricks here. We also have Assistant Principal Jeannie Mitchell here, and from our ex-ed department, our Academy leader, Mrs. Jenny Schaefer. You will hear a lot of great information from them, including a lot of really impressive numbers, but I think it's the story behind the numbers that the true value lies in. So ladies, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. I am happy to present information about how our Exceptional Education Academy provides special ed services to students with IEPs. I've come to you for a few years now talking about our promotion for inclusion into our Penn community. I now get to share some wonderful highlights about things that are happening within this setting. Maybe.
Ask Dr. Nolinsky. He's a master at that thing.
Maybe. Okay. Okay, next one. So I have 4 areas that we're going to highlight today. We're going to talk about peer leadership, some collaboration, some cornhole, and our Impact Award winner. So peer leadership is something that's near and dear to my heart. With this program, students spend an elective block helping with students in the classroom or helping them reach their goals. We have wonderful peer leaders working with students in our academy doing fantastic things. It's had such a positive impact on so many different students. So I had an interview of one of our favorite peer leaders and what the program means to her.
Thank you, Emma and Alvina, for joining me. Emma, can you tell me what has been your overall experience in peer leadership?
My overall experience in peer leadership has been a fun experience and something I'd never got experience before. In our class, we do careers where we do such as like doctors or police, chef, careers, like waitresses, and more. Like, for example, we have done like, we even use like props, activities. So like one time we had a host before and Alvina had answered a phone for a customer, one of her classmates. So we have a lot of fun experiences in there, learning how to do different jobs the right and wrong way.
So much fun. So what motivated you to sign up for peer leadership?
What motivated me to sign up for peer leadership was Miss Schaefer, because I told her, actually, I have friends I had hung out with in the summer, like Alvina, before, who are diagnosed with special needs. And Miss Schaefer had told me about peer leadership, and I got more into it, and then I finally got to join it.
Cool. Can you explain maybe an experience that has had a significant impact on you?
An experience that had a significant impact on me is when the students have like a hard time in the class. It really depends on the kid, different strategies and like what to do to help the situation. you have to like something I learned. It's like you have to know what's their comfort zone and like pick options of what like to do to help out.
Very cool. Have you, what difficulties or obstacles have you encountered working with people with disabilities?
Some difficulties I have was what I'll be before. Like sometimes she'll have a hard time listening, or like we have a hard time. So we will have to like find ways, or like give them a choice between the two, to get them going because sometimes we have a hard time doing things. So either like give them time to think to themselves to make up a choice for 5 minutes, or pick between like either come along or something else. Like just find an option that'll help out.
What is the most important skill or quality that a peer leader would need to have?
An important skill and quality a peer leader would need to have is honestly a positive attitude walking into the class, and like leave like all the negativity out because these are kids that are as here as well wanting their education, and they have bad days as well, but they overcome them easily, and we can make it through a day like for an hour at least to have a positive attitude because these kids really like impact on us and like look up to us a lot. So a good attitude and very active and social with them.
That's awesome. That is really great. So after taking this class, do you think Penn is more inclusive?
Honestly, I do because Penn does give a lot of options out there for like specific things. And even if it's not in school, they will even give you outside school options. So yeah, I do agree that Penn is inclusive.
What have you learned that you can now take back to your community?
What I learned is now I know how to help out others. Like if there's people out there who as well are diagnosed with special needs out there that need help, and like in the public, in a dangerous situation, I would know what to do, and I know how to teach other people as well how to communicate and help with them as well because it's hard to like find a solution, and some people don't know.
Right.
So it's better to teach and learn, teach other people and show them what's the right way to like do things.
Alvina, can I ask you a question?
Mm.
What class do you have Emma in with? Is she in your math class or is she in careers class? Okay. Can you tell me who Toodles is?
She eats food.
She eats food? Is she your dog?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where does Toodles stay? Where's Toodles at right now?
Outside.
Outside? Is she at home or is she at Bosnia?
Bosnia.
Is she at Bosnia? What color is Toodles?
White and brown.
Yeah, she's white and brown?
Yeah.
What class do we have together? Do we do math? No. Do we do careers? What do you like doing in careers together? Do you enjoy the drawing?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like doing activities? Do you like singing and dancing the most?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite class?
Do you enjoy PE? Do you like PE because you get to swim? Is that right? Can you give me double thumbs up?
Do you like having Emma to help you in class?
Do you like me helping you in class?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like when other teachers and friends help you as well?
Yeah.
Did you learn to ask for help?
Yeah.
Who had taught you to ask for help?
Who
No,
knows?
you don't know.
Dude,
We'll switch after.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
I don't want to.
Baker.
I love how Emma naturally took over in the interview and helped Elvina participate. That was wonderful. They have such a great friendship. I hope this program sparks more interest into this work. We have two teachers, myself and Miss Bright, who became special ed teachers because we were peer leaders at Penn. It's such a great program, and I also want to thank PNN staff and Mrs. Starkweather for helping us with the video. Because of the promotion of inclusion at Penn, we have some other very cool inclusive settings happening around our school. A beautiful example is Sensei Wolfgang helping Bryn find success in Japanese class. The facts class, the cadet teaching students, were able to learn about teaching students with disabilities and modifying curriculum using the content connectors. This is a valuable skill that helps future teachers support a diverse population of students. A long-time inclusive partner are our art classes. Becky Brown's classes continue to be a place where our diverse students can shine. Finally, this really awesome collaborative effort to commemorate the passing of our dear friend Trevor McAllister, an art student Carson DePola made a portrait of Trevor, and then Corey Walter, pictured here, was able to make a frame in his construction class. This collaborative piece was then given to Trevor's parents at our graduation ceremony. It was just, those are just some of the stories of inclusion and cooperation at our school. And then there are so many more stories. For instance, check out this story about Naya. She's a wonderful Kingsman who loves music. Students around the building helped her find a voice. I encourage you to check out this Penn news story by Marie Roach to learn more about Naya's communication board and the collaborative efforts that went into it. The story is linked to this slide. More inclusive practices were put in place with the addition of a very fun club sport, unifying cornhole. It was initiated by Assistant Athletic Director Marie Doan. It was coached by one of our EAs, Whitney Hall, and the student athletes had a blast gearing up for the unified track season with this fun new sport. And then finally, we get to congratulate our Impact Award winner, Jenny Dakins. She's a veteran teacher in our academy, and she's worked with students in learning strategies classes. She was able to help her students pass all of their academic classes with a 92% pass rate, something that's really to be celebrated. So now I get to turn it over to Jeannie Mitchell, and she can highlight the great things happening in Freshman Academy.
Thank you, Ginny. Not Jeannie or Jenny. We get confused sometimes between Jeannie and Jenny. President Riley, Dr. Thacker, members of the school board, it's great to be here again tonight. We're a better place at Penn High School because of Ginny Schaefer and the People in our Outside Department. So we are extremely excited in Freshman Academy to get to collaborate with so many freshmen that come through our doors. And I don't know if you know, this year's class of freshmen was about 100 more than usual. So it was a large class, all hands on deck. So I know you hear this every year. I just want to restate our goal in the Freshman Academy is to make that 826 students feel a little smaller with our freshman houses. And within each of those houses, students share the same geography, biology, math, and English teacher. So they have a smaller house of about 165 students that they come to get to know better, to make that transition more manageable, a little less intimidating. And then those teachers are collaborating regularly as content sharing their content together, but also as their house. And that's our number one goal, is to build a strong sense of community in our Freshman Academy. There we go. So with our points of emphasis, welcoming the class, none of this would be possible without our awesome 9th grade counselors who help by getting them scheduled, getting them in the walk around to find their classes, and all of our freshman mentors who help guide our freshmen the first semester. How do you find your class? How do you order lunch? Simple things we take for granted. And then later in the semester, how do you choose your sophomore year classes? What are the pathways that you want to take in order to graduate? As we talk about transition to Penn, for some it's smoother than others. And for those that need more support, we are all about multiple systems of support. We have to give credit to our deans, Crystal Wheeler being one of them, and Daisha Bonner, Vince D'Addario, and of course their leader, Assistant Principal Sarah Hendricks, who are assets to our freshman team. As we know, the transition can be challenging and that maturity level is a little lower. We have lots of fun in Freshman Academy. But we are a collaborative team talking about best ways to support students both behaviorally and academically. And then we love to recognize the good things that our students and staff are doing. I know you've heard about our house rockers. We recognize freshmen who have exemplified taking care of each other themselves in this place, not necessarily because they have all A's or they're standout students, but because they're showing collaboration, compassion for one another, and support. And then we give them a free pizza coupon and an exclusive House Rockers t-shirt. Pretty big deal. Moving forward, proactive efforts continue building community but I did want to take a moment to talk about some of what Ginny talked to you about our fantastic 9th grade co-taught teams. So we have Cubby Irons and Thomas Smith, who head up our Geography and History of the World co-taught class. English, Ginny Schaefer and Carrie Morton, who I'll talk to you about in just a minute. And then biology, we have Zach Lopez and Michelle Miller. And we're excited to continue to grow that, to extend that to math as well this year, just to be more inclusive for all. It's not exclusive to exceptional education or general education, but education, period. We like to highlight the great things that happen. This year at Penn, we decided to have our students and staff nominate Teachers of the Month, people that have stuck out to them for being supportive in different ways. And so in December, we recognized Miss France, who's one of our 9th grade math teachers. This is her first year teaching, and she is doing a phenomenal job. She's had challenges, but she stuck it out and has a lot to reflect on as she thinks about next year. And then Mr. Witten, we just recognized Mr. Witten is all in. He's a track coach, he's a football coach, and he headed up our AP World History challenge this year. I don't know if you know, we had almost 250 9th graders taking AP World History for the first time ever. So that AP exam was full, let me tell you. We also like to recognize our students in the House Rockers as they are. Here's just an example of 2 students in October. And at that first semester time, our freshman academy leader was Carolyn McGuire. And so she met with these students to say, great job, but also to hear from them what they think about leadership. So in this situation, she asked about what is their motivation for doing well. Samara said her family, and Kale said he's motivated to show his parents he's responsible. So it's a great way to showcase the great things students are doing that maybe they're not getting recognition in those ways otherwise. And of course, we get to have lots of fun. This year, if you don't know, Mr. Bonner, one of our deans, also has a great talent as being an MC. So our pep rally was the best ever because Mr. Bonner had an incredible pep rally. So for a 9th grade entry into what homecoming is like, oh, it was so exciting. Everybody had goosebumps. We've had field trips for community building to Camp Eberhart. We've gone to Bodine Fish Hatchery for more academic purposes. They released their coho salmon that they bred themselves, that they grew, back into that system. We've gone to the ice rink, and then you can see our freshman academy teachers having fun with our Find Your Rhythm theme because they're a team all year round. Which leads me to our final piece here, and I want to introduce on the screen Carrie Morton, who is incredibly humble and doesn't necessarily want to be recognized, but she is one of the most phenomenal teachers that we have in our building. She is incredibly sound in her curriculum and instruction. She's a leader in our PLCs, and she's just so kind and supportive. So instead of me next year, I hope it's Carrie here next year who gets to deliver this message to you. Thank you guys for your time. Pause for any questions you have, but I just have to tell you, I'm already excited to welcome the class of 2028.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Do any board members wish to be recognized? Well, Mrs. Mitchell, I can't tell you how proud we are of the freshman academies, all of our academies, but really in particular the freshman academy. That's pivotal. I don't believe that Penn High School would be Penn High School today if we hadn't adopted the academies some 10 years ago or more. Thank you for all that you're doing. The success speaks for itself. Please also pass along our appreciation to Ms. France and Mr. Witten. And even though Carrie Morton doesn't want to be recognized, I'm recognizing her now. Tell her thank you for us. Also, please pass along our congratulations to our house rockers, Samara Stockbarger and Kale Shirk. It's awesome that they are participating in the academy like they're doing and being recognized for it. Ms. Schaefer, I want to take a moment and especially recognize you. I had the privilege of attending the exceptional education graduation ceremony last week, and I'm a much older man now than when I started in the school board, and that was a tearful experience. Watching all of those students who have had challenges that are, to me, completely unknown, and everything that they've achieved was an experience that I'm not going to forget anytime soon. All of our teachers and administrators in exceptional education, thank you. Thank you so much for doing God's work and working with these students who just need a little extra help. We appreciate you enormously. I know they do too, and so do their parents. So I want to take a moment and extend our sympathies to the family of Trevor McAllister. Got to meet his mother, and we wish we extend our prayers for the healing for that family. We also want to recognize other members of our team who have worked with exceptional education to make that program what it is. Marie Doan, Jenny Dakins, and Jenny Mitchell. We thank you all. What you're doing helps make PHM the flagship school district in our area. And it means a lot, not just to the board, not just to the administration, but to the parents, most importantly, the students in our community abroad. So thank you. We'll move on to our business operational services action items. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Aaron Linsky, will present our business action item this evening with a request for approval to award bids for some capital improvement projects. Dr. Linsky.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. Good evening, President Riley, members of the board. So many neat presentations, and I'm excited that I get to continue to improve facilities that give these kids and these teachers opportunities to do what they do and show off their craft. As we did last month for just efficiency, transparency, we tried to put them all in a summary now for you. I know we've got a lot of items up there. I'll highlight a few of them. For the community, there's links to every document. I tried to put it in a single packet to make it, again, as easy as possible. I also did add another column this month to show you who's been reviewed by, so you can see it's typically things go through multiple hands as you review those yourselves. As you can see, there are a total of 16 projects this evening. I think they can almost all fit up there for a total of $7,665,346.93. I'm just going to highlight three of them. The first one, which is the largest project, that's the Penn mechanical equipment package. We had hoped to do some piping at the high school this summer. Unfortunately, due to the labor market, we're not able to do that. So we're ordering the equipment for the back end. That's a chiller, electric switch gears, all the major components in the back at Penn High School. Also at Penn High School, we're awarding this evening or recommending the award for the student drop-off expansion at Penn High School. Hopefully that will make that a better, safer, and more efficient experience for parents in the morning. And so that project, if awarded, will begin this summer and get completed prior to school starting. And then the third project is a tennis court replacement. That's a post-tension system, which is something we have not done yet. It's a concrete system for the tennis courts at Prairie Vista. So I know that community utilizes those tennis courts a lot. They've been in need of being replaced. It's not a small item to do, but something that's utilized by all. Certainly happy to answer any questions you have. Otherwise, we respectfully request your approval.
Board members, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll take one motion for the entire slate of capital improvements as presented. Do I have a motion to award the capital improvements projects to listed vendors as presented?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. And Dr. Linsky, I do notice some members of the public try and take a photograph of it. To the extent that they need this available,
Everything's
we can make this
online.
available.
Yep, everything's on. It's been online since last week.
Thank you, Dr. Linsky. We'll move on to approval to hire administrator assistants and compare administrator and secretarial wages and benefits. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. Executive Director of Business Services, Dr. Thomas Keeley, will present this next item, which is an approval to hire administrative assistants to compare administrative and secretarial wages and benefits. Dr. Keeley.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. We've reached out to Steve Wittenauer, owner of Administrator Assistants, to talk about doing a study of wages and benefits for administrators and for secretarial positions. They're going to look at like schools that are close to our size in enrollment, as well as Elkhart and St. Joe County. Administrator Assistants is a team of retired administrators and has expertise in this area, and they do this all over the state. So I gave you a website if you wanted to look up the their firm because they're very well respected. Attached is the proposal and agreement for the study not to exceed $25,000. The schools like PHM and local area schools are listed for your reference. In further discussion, administrative assistants recommended a two-phase approach where they'll identify any positions from kind of a first blush in terms of job duties that are very similar to ours. You have to understand, across the entire state of Indiana, they may call, certain positions treasurers, certain positions secretary, assistant, assistants, things like that. So they'll do their best to do like jobs with the benefits and wages. And then from the first phase, they're going to inspect it and give us recommendations that one area may look too high, may look low, may look like it needs more inspection. In conversation, Dr. Linsky and I met with them, and they thought that just diving in and getting all the job descriptions, all the information for all of those schools and all of those employees might be quite cost prohibitive and maybe not really able to get completed, to be quite honest with you, just because of the scope of it. It could take a long time. This one looks like it should be able to be wrapped up around August or September, and we'll know more as they dig into it. I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Keeley. Board members wish to be recognized. Do I have a motion to approve the hiring of administrator assistants to compare administrator and secretarial wages and benefits as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. We'll show that vote carries by a vote of 5-0. We'll now move on to our business hearing item actions, business operational services item, Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley. Actually, we have Tom Keeley's up here, but President Riley is going to introduce this agenda item on the next rather lengthy legal steps required for 2024A and then 2024B lease financing for the renovation projects and the field house project respectively. So, Mr. Riley.
Board members and members of the public, please bear with me. On the first motion, the proofs of publication for the notice of the hearing on the lease has been shared with the board members. Do I have a motion to approve the proofs of publication and posting of the notice to taxpayers of the public hearing on the 2024A lease financing for renovation projects?
I so moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. I now open the public hearing on the 2024A lease financing for renovation projects. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing on the 2024A lease financing for renovation projects, and I'll move on to the second motion. The proofs of publication for notice of taxpayers of the additional appropriation has been shared with the board members. Board members, do I have a motion to approve the proofs of publication and posting of notice to taxpayers of the public hearing on the additional appropriation of 2024A lease financing for renovation projects?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion carries by a vote of 6-0. I now open the public hearing on the additional appropriation on the 2024 lease financing for renovation projects. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this item? Seeing none, I close the public hearing on the additional appropriation of 2024 lease financing for renovation projects, and I move on to the third motion. Board members, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit A, the resolution authorizing execution of lease agreement?
I so moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion carries by a vote of 6-0. I'll move on to the fourth motion. Do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit B, the additional appropriation resolution?
I so moved.
Second?
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion also carries by a vote of 6-0. I'll now move on to the fifth motion. Board members, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit C, the resolution assigning construction bids and contracts to the building corporation?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion carries by a vote of 6-0. We'll move on to the sixth and final motion. Board members, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit D, the resolution approving supplement to master continuing disclosure undertaking and issuing bonds?
I so move.
Second?
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion also carries unanimously. Thank you, board members. Thank you also, Dr. Keeley, for your ongoing work on the lease finance and for the upcoming renovation projects for the district. It's my understanding that we have the same process now from 2024B lease finance for the field house project, whereupon we will table for now Noah Schaefer's contemplated statue. We'll move on to our second business hearing item, Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. President Riley will again introduce this agenda item on the next rather lengthy legal steps required for the 2024B leasing financing for the Fieldhouse project. Mr. Riley.
Board members, the proofs of publication for the notice of hearing on the lease has been shared with board members. Do I have a motion to approve the proofs of publication and posting of the notice to taxpayers of the public hearing on 2024B lease financing for the Fieldhouse project?
I so move. I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries unanimously. I now open the public hearing on the 2024B lease financing for Fieldhouse project. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the item? Seeing none, I close the public hearing on 2024B lease financing for the Fieldhouse project and move to the second motion. Board members, proofs of publication for the notice to taxpayers of the additional appropriation has been shared with you. Do I have a motion to approve the proofs of publication and posting of the notice to taxpayers of the public hearing on the additional appropriation on the 2024B lease financing for Fieldhouse project?
I so move. I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. I now open the public hearing on the additional appropriation for the 2024 lease financing for Fieldhouse project. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this item? Seeing none, I now close the public hearing on the additional appropriation for 2024B lease financing for Fieldhouse project. Move to the third motion. Board members, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit A, the resolution authorizing execution of lease agreement?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries unanimously. I'll move to the fourth motion. Do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit B, the additional appropriation resolution?
I so move.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Board members, as to the fifth motion, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit C, the resolution assigning construction bids and contracts to the building corporation?
I so move. I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Now move on to the sixth motion. Board members, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit D, the resolution approving supplement to master continuing disclosure undertaking and issuing bonds?
I so move. I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion also carries by a vote of 6-0. Again, we thank you, Dr. Keeley, for your ongoing work on the lease finance and for the upcoming renovations projects on the Fieldhouse project for the district. We thank you so much, sir. We'll now move on to the hearing of visitors. At regular board meetings, the public is invited to address the board on general topics under the hearing of visitors without registering. A time limit of 3 minutes shall be strictly enforced for persons wishing to speak during the hearing of visitors. Board Attorney, Mr. Jeff Johnson, will keep time and will let you know as your time is expiring. It is requested that names and addresses be stated at the beginning of such comments. Individuals may only speak during once during this section of the agenda. Please understand that personnel issues absolutely cannot be addressed during open sessions of the board. To dispel any doubt, that means that no PHM school board member, administrator, or employee can be called out by name. The public is welcome to talk about context, facts, and circumstances, but not about people. PHM has a clearly defined procedure for personnel issues. That is, concerns about individual employees of the district should be brought to the superintendent or to his designee. Please use orderly and appropriate language and volume when addressing the board. Violations of these instructions could result in your time being discontinued, and I do respectfully ask that anyone wishing to address the board abide by this policy. Repeated violations of these instructions could result in a forfeiture of your meeting time allotment. I'll now open up the floor to any visitor who would like to address the board. Hearing none, we'll move on to board reports and requests. Board members.
I just wanted to come and tell you one thing. I was so excited because I just finished my DIBELS testing, which is the standardized testing that we do in kindergarten. Oh, by the way, I'm Jenny McCarthy. I teach at Bittersweet. I've been a teacher. This is year 30, and I just have so much to say. I'm so excited about this. So I did my DIBELS testing, and I had the class that had the most students at the beginning of the year in the red, which is the significantly below area. So I've gone through lots of trainings and lots of different programs over the years. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do with these kids. But I started the letters program, and I really am giving most of the credit to them. But every single child in my classroom this year moved up. I had it was like 6 or 8 in red. I now have 0 red. And then yellow is they're below, but you kind of want to watch them. And then green is right where they should be. And then blue is like above grade level. And from what I've learned in January, starting in January with this letters program that Mrs. Allwine and Mr. Towner got for us and that you guys all approved for us, I have seen every single child in my class make significant growth, and I have 0 reds. So,
Congratulations.
and I only have 3 yellows. So, but I really, really feel that it's due to this letters program. So again, I just want to thank every single one of you for approving that. And Dr. Keeley, thank you for getting it, figuring out how to pay us to do it next year for volume 2. We really do appreciate that. So it's a really great program, and I can't say enough about it. I should probably write a review for the company, but I knew all this information. It's just putting it together in different ways. And it's like, oh, like those aha moments 30 years later, you're like, oh yeah, huh. That's a good way to look at that. So anyway, it brings a lot of different programs together. So I was really happy. So I couldn't not come to tell you. I needed to come and tell you how excited I was about my data this year. So, and I really attribute it to that because it's made me think about different things. So
Excellent.
that's all I have for you.
Wonderful to hear the good news. Congratulations,
Thank
Mr.
you.
McCarthy. Okay, before I close it, any other members of the board?
Laura Zinsky, I just wanted to point out that we just had somebody come up, did not state their name, did not state their address, and they were allowed to address the crowd, which I believe a certain parent got into a lot of trouble last fall for. Just want to point that out.
Thank you, Ms. Brzezinski. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to board reports and requests. Board member, yes, Mr. Dallas.
Good evening. So I wanted to, I'm not here to bring any heat tonight. Just wanted to say that this is probably one of the better run meetings I've seen. I've been coming to speak for about 3 years now. And I noticed tonight we had some parents ask some good questions about SCL. Got an answer. Parent got an answer. Thank you for that. Watched a board member ask a good question about DEI. Got an answer, a confirmation. That's a big improvement from what I've seen. We're getting better, I think. So I'm just giving credit where credit is due. We saw some questions being asked. We saw some good answers. Saw some follow-up. It's not something I'm used to seeing. So happy to see that. And I'm glad DEI is starting to be phased out. I think that's a good thing. We're watching these once prestigious universities kind of burn to the ground now these days. You've all seen it on the news. It's obvious. A lot of these once, nice universities we all wanted to send our kids to, they're getting turned into something else. And you guys are reading the room. We're phasing it out. We're doing the right thing. I just want to give credit where credit is due, and that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Dallas. Anybody else? Okay, now we'll move on to board reports and requests. Board members, anything to report or request?
Excuse me, I'd like to make a statement.
Mr. Garrett.
Anyone who was at the dedication for Art Klinger at the planetarium last week would have been very impressed by the students of Miss McCarthy. She brought her students to the dedication, and
It was all first grade though. It wasn't just me. It was all of our first graders. So.
okay,
It was
then.
all of them.
These students, and they were very well behaved. They were very, polite, nice. Exactly, almost you didn't notice them. They were so nice. So I just wanted to show that reflected, I believe, the love and the respect that they had for their teachers. And a shout out to the teachers at our elementaries who were able to do the things that they did. So good job. You did great. I think you're awesome.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garrett. Other board members? If not, we'll move on to announcements.
Mr. Riley, I did want to bring something up, which is that I had two, what I would deem very productive conversations, one at the superintendent's breakfast, thank you for your state of the district, and also at the groundbreaking ceremony about working together with local government to really take a look at the intersection of McKinley and Bittersweet, knowing that our campus is about to expand, working to make sure that our students have safe ways to cross streets. I know Mr. Garrett and I talked extensively about this. I think we need to get ahead of it before that field house opens. That Culver's opening to great, I think, fanfare amongst our students is amazing. They've been such wonderful supporters of our schools, but there's a lot of natural magnet across the street now. And I just think we really need to put our heads together to ensure that our students know how to cross that intersection, but perhaps more importantly, that we can make some investments in infrastructure in that intersection to increase the likelihood that our students are safe as they navigate our increasingly extended campus.
I agree with that. We did have a great conversation with Culver's owner at the groundbreaking, and he expressed his appreciation that Penn students are eager to eat Culver's. We just don't want them to be overly eager to where they're not using the crosswalks and they're crossing through the intersection. And maybe given the fact that long-term we have the field house coming in, we just are concerned that that situation is going to get worse. So I do agree with Ms. Roach. That's an issue we really need to take a look at. Other board members? Okay, we'll move on to announcements. The next regular meeting of the Penn-Harris-Madison Board of School Trustees will convene on Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Board members, there being no further business before the board, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries unanimously. We're adjourned at 8:27 p.m.